Imagine you're at a party just chillin', vibing, you know, you doing you, and then out of nowhere, you just get punched in your face for no reason. Now, I'm sure you'd be pretty mad about that, and also probably equally as confused considering you literally didn't do anything. But that's pretty much exactly what happened to this guy at Jack Dorky's Halloween party. Now, before we even get into it, if you don't know who Jack Doherty is, I have good and bad news for you. The good news is you don't know who he is, and the bad news is you're about to find out. So Jack Dorky is mainly an, of course, kick streamer that does prank content, but without the pranks. What he actually does is goes around and harasses people with the sole intent of making them so angry or annoyed that they pretty much want to fight him or get physical with him. And once he gets them to that point, he just runs and hides behind his big goofy security guards and continues to mock them. And of course I'm going to show examples of this. I just want to make sure that you're strapped in and ready because this guy is the arbiter of cringe. But with that said, let me give you a few examples of the type of content he makes.
Go.
What? Little prompt, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Yeah. Yeah.
We got out of there, motherfucker. Let's go.
Watch your language. There's kids around here.
I didn't say any curse words. What'd I say?
Just watch your language.
What'd I say?
You got a stupid shirt on over there.
Yeah.
Shirt,
Your kids
bro.
can't read,
What are
though.
you talking about?
Your kids can't read, can they?
I'm seeing
away
your
from
kids
me.
watch.
Get away from
You
me.
started talking to me, buddy.
Get away from me.
You get away from me. Watch your kids. Go walk away. McKinley, back up.
What the fuck's your problem?
Now, other than that, the only other thing he does is basically just be a big punching bag for the internet. He's a prime example of the type of person that thinks all attention is good attention. And you truly know that it's bad when you're getting punked by FouseyTube.
God damn it. Baby said, yo, I'm 33 years old, and yo, get me some water bottles, John. Give me some fucking.
You're lucky I made friends with your security.
Hey, now we can't.
I think the funniest part of that clip was his immediate response that he hits like a bitch. That's what literally everyone says after they get completely whooped and don't fight back at all. You hit like a punk, man. I swear that didn't even hurt. I eat those up for breakfast, man. This is a great example of what he's actually like when his huge security guards aren't there protecting him. He just constantly tries to act like he's some sort of like big, pushy, tough guy. And then when it comes down to it, he can't even defend himself. This guy just smacked the taste out of his mouth and he's sitting there talking about it didn't even hurt. Also, when it comes down to it though, I honestly don't even know what FouseyTube was doing there. He's like one of the older YouTubers, and when it comes down to it, he has more than enough money to the point where he doesn't have to be going to these like wacky house events with people like Jackass over here. But now that we sadly know who Jackman is, we can get into that story from earlier. So Jack is getting sued for assault by the guy that was at his party that got punched in the face for what I can only see is literally no reason. Maybe the bodyguard got his feelings hurt or something, so he decided the best way to go about this was to punch a guy in his head. And I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip of that now.
Yo, just back up. Just stop.
I'm just saying, y'all say
Yo, just stop. Tell him stop. Oh, fuck. Oh, no, yo, stop.
No, with you. Are you fucking crazy?
Hey!
Now, like I said before, he got hit for seemingly no reason at all. Of course, it looked like they were having a bit of a confrontation, exchanging words, maybe arguing a little bit. The guy did point his hand at him, but there was nothing outrageous that happened here that wouldn't happen in a typical argument, and this guy's response to this was just completely insane. I guess he was losing the argument and got a little bit too upset, so he smacked his arm out of his face and threw a cannonball fist at him. Like, this is insane as a security guard. If you felt threatened by him that much, it's not like he posed a heavy threat. He was just pointing at you. At most, slightly push him away a little bit. Don't try to punch his head off. And this is all followed up by an article that I'm going to toss up on the screen and read off now. And it says, man sues Jack Doherty for Halloween assault. Chase, that's the guy that got hit. Chase claims that Jack told him, we're gonna fight. Us two versus you two. Alright, go. Moments later, he was punched hard by Kong. Kong. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take a break here to address two of the major things that I see in this so far. One being the smaller one, that this obviously didn't seem like a fair fight, nor a fight that he agreed to at all. What type of saying is that? Us versus you, we about to fight, ready, set, go, boom, and then just punches him in the face. Like, what is that? Also, I want to address the second part that's probably the elephant in the room. His bodyguard's name is Kong. You can't even make this up. The only Kongs that I've ever heard of have been King Kong and Donkey Kong, and they're both big, goofy, aggressive gorillas. Like, I don't know why this guy is sitting here trying to guard Jack Dorky. He needs to be guarding Fort Knox or launching barrels at people or something. I'm also not saying that his guard Kong over here is a big, goofy, aggressive gorilla, but what I am saying is the name Kong seems to be following a trend. But we could go ahead and continue with the article now. It says Gardella, that's Chase, insists that he never agreed to the fight and suffered head, neck, and face injuries when he fell as a result of the powerful punch. And those might sound like pretty hefty and numerous injuries for one punch to the face, but we gotta keep in mind here, we are talking about Kong. That guy threw that punch at him like he was trying to hit a high score on those machines at the carnival. Let me go ahead and knock it off with talking about how bad Kong assaulted him. We gotta get through this article. He is suing for assault, battery, negligence, and emotional distress, but the amount he's suing for is unknown at this time. This was a disgusting, unprovoked assault on a young man by a professional boxer at the direction of his social media influencer employer, Chase's attorney said. Chase was minding his own business, enjoying a fun Halloween party with friends when he was brutally attacked by a man several times larger than him. Now, I'm sure in the process of hearing that article, you also picked up on that Jack's bodyguard in that situation was a professional boxer. It also isn't mentioned here, but he was also previously DaBaby's bodyguard. And honestly, with that information alone, it makes this situation a bit less surprising that he's lashing out and just punching people. It also says in the article that it's unknown at this time how much they're trying to sue him for, but I can only hope that it's literally as much as they can possibly get out of him. I'm plotting on his complete downfall in this situation because this was obviously a blatant case of assault, and I think the only way that someone like Jack Dorky can learn from something like this is by taking a hit to where it hurts them the most, their pockets. This also isn't the first time that this has happened at all. Jack has had his fair share of times where his security guards have been overly aggressive with people and pretty much attacked them for no reason. I also honestly think that that makes this case much stronger because they literally have proof that he's done this before, he hasn't learned his lesson any of the times, and he'll keep doing it if it's constantly able to go on unchecked. And I'm sure you could have probably already guessed, but after all of this went down, of course he didn't come out and apologize like a normal person would. He actually did quite the opposite. He rewarded that bodyguard an extra $5,000 and the day off for essentially assaulting a man for no reason. And I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip of him talking about that now.
But you put him in that position. So when the baby them hit me up and I'm like, yo, what's up with this kid? So you got Kane knocking people out. We want to protect Kane.
Still open?
That's a part of game. You got to take care of your people. No?
I did it. I sent them like 5 bands that day and then said you can go home and
No,
do
but
whatever you
listen,
want.
it's not about the money.
But
You
it was to
wouldn't-
him. That's what he said.
Now, one of the things I wanted to point out in that clip is the guy that he's talking to is one of the only people that I've seen that tried to genuinely help and give Jack good advice. Like, sure, I know a lot of the other, like, commentary and a lot of the other YouTubers that cover this type of thing also try to, like, give him good advice to stop doing this type of thing, but a lot of people that are around Jack, none of them really ever give him great advice that much. It seems like they're just fine with him being the punching bag. And it seems like at a point, he clearly doesn't even know what is wrong with what he's doing. Because like the guy was saying, he's trying to keep the like bodyguards safe as well because they are your bodyguards. But if you're kind of too stupid and get yourself in a bad situation, you're also indirectly putting them in a bad situation as well. And if anything, arguably a much more dangerous situation because if something pops off, they're going to be the ones taking the brunt of it because they're the bodyguards. Jack literally thinks that the only thing that matters is money. Oh, I sent him $5,000. Like, that's not what matters, man. And that kind of moves into my next point that, like I said before in my previous video on Jack, as much as I want to hate Jack and blame everything 100% on him, I'm not going to sit here and say he should have no accountability for his actions whatsoever, obviously. But what I am going to say is that he's super young and he gained like a ton of fame super early in his life, and I guess that affects your brain in in some sort of way, but he probably couldn't tell the difference that much between what's right and what's wrong. In his head, he was probably just seeing, if it's getting a ton of views and making me a ton of money, it's probably just the right thing to do, right? Everyone else is doing it. And I honestly think the people around him need to help get him like out of that mindset, because at this point, a lot of them are even encouraging him, even his bodyguards. I know it's not necessarily their place to be, you know, telling him what he should and shouldn't be doing, but if they see him literally going out of his way to harass people and put himself and the bodyguard in danger, you'd also think the bodyguard would kind of be like, hey, you know, you probably shouldn't be doing that, you know, you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation and this just isn't the right thing to do. If you continue this, I can't promise that I'll be protecting you. And also kind of going off on that topic as well, like I said, as much as I do dislike him, I do want to see him do better, because I really don't want to see him end up in one of these situations where, you know, he continues this type of content and he ends up messing with the wrong person, because at this point, it's not even if he's gonna mess with the wrong person as much as when. It's only a matter of time if you keep doing this type of thing. Like, I guarantee you that there are a ton of people out there that are literally D1 crash outs. They're willing to lose it all at the drop of a hat. They're willing to lose it all if you look at them for too long. And the thing about that is, you only get one chance to pull up on the wrong guy. Like, once you get to that point, it's no, oh, after this interaction, I'll learn from my mistakes. Nah, they willing to crash out. And we all know what crashing out means. From the looks of it, it don't look like him or his bodyguard is wearing any sort of bulletproof vest. And even if they were, this still isn't the type of situation that you should really be putting yourself in the danger of having a chance of encountering. But yeah, that's honestly pretty much it on this situation. Like I said, as much as I do hate him, I genuinely am hoping that he does do better, because he is still super young, and the fame that he got super early in his life really could have genuinely like threw his mental off a lot. So for the time being, I am going to give him the super slight benefit of the doubt, because I've seen several creators do this before, where they're like super dumb and do super bad things early on in their career, and they usually iron it out later and pretty much look back on it and be like, damn, I was a pretty shitty person back then, and I apologize for that. If you also made it this far in the video, you clearly probably liked something, so make sure to subscribe and drop a like as well. We're almost at 500, so hey, every sub counts. But with that said, if anything else comes up in this situation, I'll keep you guys updated, but for now, I'll catch you guys in the next one.